Everybody, welcome to the last Chronicles of Planet Earth again. This is going to be the update connecting the prophecies to current events for July 15th, 2010. If you're on YouTube, just go to my website, and underneath the video you can see all the news that I'm talking about today. And I'm going to get right into Matthew 24:7, where Jesus tells us in the last days that nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. Now, the kingdom against kingdom is civil unrest. Nation against nation would be, for example, the United States against China or Russia. But kingdom against kingdom means they're fighting against themselves. The Chinese fighting against themselves, Britons fighting against themselves, Americans fighting against themselves. We've seen this happen in the beginning of this year in 2010 in Greece and in other places in the European Union because their economy is failing and they're losing a lot of the benefits, and there's been a lot of civil disturbance because of it. And so I'd like to center on America because America is definitely declining. They're going down in power, and the reason why is because, first of all, they never mention in the book of Daniel, where Daniel's outlined every one of the nations or world empires that were going to rule one after another all the way until the time Jesus Christ came back, and the United States is nowhere in there. So we know something happened to the United States to not play any significant role during the last days, and we see it in our generation how it's happening. And a major part of how it's happening is the economy. The economy is tanking, and they're writing about it. I've been warning about it, the collapse of America. When that happens, there will be this civil unrest, and it's heading towards our way. Now, in the article, that when you scroll down, a historian warns of a sudden collapse of American empire. He goes, the Harvard professor and the prolific author Neil Ferguson opened a 2010 Aspen Ideas Festival Monday with a stark warning about the increasing prospect of American empire suddenly collapsing due to the country's rising debt level. And this is what I've been showing you in my post, and I have it in my book. I give you all the details of how America is declining, and her $14 trillion debt is going to really submerge her. Goes on, I think that this is a problem that is going to come live really soon, Ferguson said. In that sense, I mean within the next 2 years, because the whole thing, financially and the other ways, is very near to the edge of chaos. And essentially this is what Jesus shows us in the book of Revelation and what Christ showed us in the book of Matthew chapter 24. And we've seen already in Greece what happens when the bond market loses faith in your financial policy. Ferguson said empires such as the former Soviet Union and the Roman Empire can collapse quite quickly, and the tipping point is often when the cost of servicing an empire's debt is larger than the cost of the deficit or the defense budget. So what they're warning is essentially what is going to happen. The United States cannot hold up very much longer under her massive debt. They will fall, and this is one of the reasons why the world leaders are talking about getting rid of the dollar. It's been a major deal with the other nations. But let me scroll down here a little bit, read a couple of these other articles that you're going to scroll down to when you get to my website. Says fears grows as millions lose jobless benefits. This is what I've been telling you for the last year and a half. This is to look for, and it's in the news. It says Deborah Coleman lost her unemployment benefits in April and now fears for millions of others if the Senate does not extend aid to the jobless. It's too late for me now, she said, fighting back the tears at the Firestore food bank in the low-income over the Rhine district near downtown Cincinnati. But it will be trouble for the people who will lose their benefits if Congress does nothing. For nearly 2 years, Coleman says she has filed an average of 30 job applicants a day but remains jobless. Unemployment has remained stubbornly high, around the 9.5%. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in June, 6.8 million people, or 45.5% of the total, are long-term unemployed or jobless for 27 weeks or more. These are signs that America is going down. U.S. stocks broke a 6-day winning streak on Wednesday, with the S&P 500 ending a hair lower than the Federal Reserve suggested. Additional measures may be needed to combat the weakening economy. Essentially, it has confirmed some of the fears of investors, namely the recovery is going to take some time, and that's the last thing that we wanted to hear from the Fed. So please pay attention to what they're writing, because the economy is not going to get much better. Probably won't get any better, as a matter of fact. More people are going to get laid off. The tax base is going to shrink. This is going to put more burdens on the states. We're seeing that happen weekly. And now that the new the fiscal budget has to be set in place, many of these states are going to start cutting back, and you'll see that in the news very soon. Now, the home loss to foreclosure for 2010, when you scroll down, you find out so far this year, it's 1 million. It says more than 1 million American households are likely to lose their homes to foreclosure this year, as lenders work their way through the huge blockade of borrowers who have fallen behind on their loans. Nearly 528,000 homes were taken over by lenders in the first 6 months of the year, a rate that is on track to eclipse the more than 900,000 repossessed in 2009. Americans are losing everything. They're losing their jobs, they're losing their homes, losing their benefits. And as you keep going on and you name these things, down the road you see the chaos that's coming, because people get hopeless. But those of us who know Christ, we know what to expect, and we do have the hope, because we know that soon the Lord's coming and He's going to remove us from all these different things. So that is a total blessing for anyone who wants hope. What you're seeing in the news about decline of America, this has to happen, because God showed us that it wasn't going to be America who's going to be the last empire. It was going to be a revived Roman Empire that was going to come back in the last days, and it's already here. In the eastern side of the old Roman Empire and the western side of the old Roman Empire. They're both here. I explain them both in chapter 2 of my book. So these things are prophecies that we don't have to wait for anymore. They're already here. Now, it's the last part of the prophecy where the Antichrist rises from this new Roman Empire and takes control of what will soon be the failing economy, the collapse of the economy. Globally, this man's going to step in and he's going to be able to control it. So we're going to move down to some more information about the America's decline, and hopefully you'll understand that you need to get prepared. Thank you.